All right, hello, my name is Safavi, and you are seeing this video because you are checking us out in terms of becoming a life insurance broker and potentially looking at working with us within the Safavi agency. And so this video is really designed to give you a brief 10,000 foot overview of who we are, what it looks like to get licensed, how we hire, who we hire, and what your long-term vision in terms of financial goals and ownership can look like with us. So I'm actually going to share my screen just so that I can cover some information. I know for me, when I am able to actually read while I listen, I can retain more information. And so my hope is that by sharing my screen, you're able to do the same. But before I do that, I do just want to introduce myself. Like I said, my name's Safavi. I'm based out of Washington State, and I run a nationwide agency from Washington all the way to Florida. Gratefully, I have been married for 15 years. I have two kids. I have a son that is in middle school, which still makes me kind of want to throw up every time I say. And I have a daughter who is in third grade. And we are just grateful to be able to have this opportunity to serve the community, serve Washington State. And honestly, I'm licensed in over 28 different states. So really, really fun to be able to work remotely and also have this kind of work-life harmony, right? Where I run an agency, but I'm able to also be present with my family. And so it's something that I think is really, really important and really valuable when looking into this industry. And so something that I'm definitely excited to have a conversation with you about. So let me go ahead. I am going to share my screen with you, and then we're just going to kind of dive in, and I'm going to cover a few different things with you, okay? Um, so when we talk about the four cornerstones to success when you come on board with our agency, this is something that I actually think is of the utmost importance. And my agency, the Safavi agency, falls underneath the umbrella of the IMO called Symmetry Financial. So when you get your license, you're going to have two different basically decisions, right? You could decide to go into a captive agency, something like a State Farm, where you are going to be able to work with one specific company. You're going to sell their products. They're going to be the ones that pay you. And that's a choice that a lot of different people decide to make. Now, for me, when I became licensed, I really wanted to be a part of an IMO, which stands for Independent Marketing Organization, for a couple of reasons. One, I wanted to make sure that when I was presenting options to my clients, I had various different carriers that I could really look into to make sure that I was putting the best option forward for my client based on number one, what they were hoping to have in place, and two, what I could get them qualified for. And then the second reason I really wanted to become an agent and hang my license here within the Symmetry umbrella is because Symmetry offers an ownership program where you are actually able to grow your own you're able to grow your own agency and sign paperwork to that agency. And so that's something that I was able to do here within a year of coming on board, and every month since we've just continued to grow. And one of my favorite things to see is having new agents come in, get really, really good at production. But then honestly, I love to cultivate a space where you are growing in your leadership as well. And so just to kind of give you some perspective, my vision is to really run a $15 million plus master agency. My goal is to have at minimum 25 agency owners from Washington State all the way to Florida. And I really want to utilize my energy and my focus to develop, number one, incredibly profitable producers, and two, leaders in this industry that lead with integrity and heart and a mission to always put our clients first. And so when I share that, the reason why I bring about these four cornerstones as kind of like a first slide to share is because whenever I am coaching one of my agents, we will always come back to the four cornerstones. And I will tell you that if one of them is not happening within your business, that is where you need to put your attention in to get unstuck, right? So when we look at these four cornerstones, we see the belief in what you're selling. It's really important that you understand what life insurance does for families. And it's really important that you have a belief in the industry and that you um, appreciate the carriers that you work with, and that when you are selling policies, you're also really coming from a posture of wanting to put the best potential policy forward for your client. And so that belief is huge. The second is work and counsel through MAC, which stands for Massive Action and Constant Correction. When you come on board as the licensed agent, there's going to be a lot of different things that you need to learn in terms of the carriers that we work with, along with, how to underwrite properly, how to make sure that you're running an appointment and setting expectations properly with your client, making sure that you follow through with your client and do a policy delivery so they actually understand what they have in place, ensuring that their beneficiaries know about this policy so that if and when they need to make a claim, they know who to contact, right? And so with this massive action and constant correction, what I mean by that is you're going to need to take a lot of action. You're going to be dialing a lot of people. You're going to be having a lot of conversations. And within that, you're also going to be able to come to me and your mentorship team to say, hey, listen, this happened, and what could I have done differently, right? How can I get better in this regard? So being really curious about how to get better, but having to have that action to back that as well. And then we talk about commitment to ongoing self-improvement. This is one of the areas that I wrestled with the most when I first got started in this industry. Self-improvement is one of those areas that is necessary for you to have success in this industry. And so that can look like reading different books, that can look like podcasts, that can look like moving your body while listening to music that really fills your spirit, right? So making sure that you are doing something on a daily basis to grow yourself, and committing to understanding where you're at in your business and what you need to learn in that period of time to get to that next level. And then lastly, and I think one of the most important, is associate with the right people. We work remotely, which is a beautiful, beautiful gift, and one that I am really grateful for. The other side of that is it's really important that you don't work alone, right? And so we do talk about associating with the right people here at our agency and also within the Symmetry umbrella. And so you're going to see we have a lot of different opportunities for you to be able to do that. We have weekly huddles. We have a virtual workspace. It's basically a Zoom room where you can listen to people live dial. You can ask questions. We have different trainings going on there, but really, really important that you associate and that you don't work alone, that you recognize that the power of putting yourself in a room full of people that have gone before you will truly transform your business. And so, what do we look for when we're hiring? There's a couple different things that I would say in our conversation I'm looking for. Number one, I'm looking for somebody who's ready to own their time and you're willing to put in the work to grow on a daily basis. Two is disciplined in your schedule and you're a person of your word. So if you tell me that this is your schedule and you tell me that you're going to do, this many dials today, and we're going to book this many appointments, that you follow through with that, right? Not because I'm your boss, because certainly I'm actually not your boss. You're your own boss, but I want to make sure that you are respecting your word and you're valuing your time. Someone who's not afraid to ask questions and get in the arena without knowing all of the answers. When I came into this industry, I had never been a part of life insurance and sales prior. And the best thing that I did for myself was come in with a spirit of just wanting to learn. I was really hungry to understand what this industry was all about, the different types of policies that we could, utilize. And I truly believe every single question under the book. And so I want you to know that this is a space where it's safe to ask those questions. I don't expect you to come in and understand everything on day one, but I do expect you to ask me questions when you don't know the answer. Okay. And then lastly, someone's who competitive with themselves and who also knows that they're made for more. I am really competitive with myself, and I find that people that have been athletes in their life, people that have that competitive spirit, do really well in this industry because you are always looking to grow yourself, and you will see these leaderboards. You're going to see what's possible with our production and with our agencies. And I want you to look at that not as a place of comparison, but a place of understanding what is possible and then competing with yourself to make those goals happen. Now, steps to get hired on with us. So, if you're not yet licensed, there is an online course, and I'm going to recommend a specific course to you for both life and health license. And this is something that is online, it's self-paced, and quite frankly, you can get this done in about 3 to 7 days. I don't want you to live in the course. I want you to get in there, get done, and take your test so we can get you hired on, okay? A second thing is you're going to schedule that state exam. Again, that can be done online or that can be done in person. You're going to take this and pass. Most states require 70% to be able to pass that exam. So, again, I don't want you to live in the course. I want you to know the material, pass that exam. And then we're going to make sure that you have your errors and emissions license and your AML certificate so that we can get you hired on. My operations manager, her name is Amy. She's going to send you some hire paperwork. And once we get that filled out and completed, you are going to get contracted with our various A-rated carriers that we work with. And then we're going to get you training. We're going to get you on the phones and we're going to get you booking appointments. It's going to be awesome. Okay, and let's talk money because I'm sure that you are here and you're trying to figure out, Anna, I'm looking at your agency. I'm thinking about becoming a licensed broker. Maybe you're already licensed and you're looking at compensation. How are you paid, right? Important to know that licensed brokers are 1099 with our carriers. So you're actually not going to be, paid by symmetry on every single policy you write. You're going to be paid by the carriers. And so what's really cool is we hire you on at an 80% contract rate, but we actually go all the way up to 130% contract rate. And your promotions in your pay are based on your issued business and what you do in your own business. So you're going to see here a promotion guideline and a slingshot your comp. I want you to go ahead and screenshot this. We can cover questions when we meet together, but basically I want you to understand that you can give yourself a 5% raise every 2 months. Here all the way up to 120%, and then 125% and 130% are going to be 3 consecutive months. But what's really, really cool is from 80 to 95%, you can actually give yourself a 5% raise month over month. And so that's where we talk about slingshot. So these numbers right here, you're going to see this is based off of issued business. On average, our APV, which stands for annual premium volume for your client, is going to be about 1,000 to 1,200. Now, what does that stand for? So when you write a policy on a person and they are paying their monthly premium, let's say it's about $80 a month, the APV is going to be what that monthly payment is times 12, meaning how much is your client paying on an annual basis for their policy. When you write a policy, let's just use really simple terms. So let's say you wrote $1,000 policy for a client, they paid their first premium. Now that policy is issued paid. Now you are going to get paid on that policy. Starting out, you're going to get 80%. And then, of course, as you scale up, you're going to get paid at that higher contract level. But for all intents and purposes, let's say that you're at that 80% contract level, you're going to get $800 off of that $1,000 policy. The way that the carriers pay this out is they're going to give you 75% advance, meaning they're paying you for 9 months of that policy right off the bat, which is awesome. And then they're going to pay you that remaining 25% in months 10, 11, and 12, all equally split 3 ways. Okay. So again, you'd get 600 bucks up front, 200 on the back end in months 10, 11, and 12, split equally for that one specific policy. I would say in our agency, we strive for our agents to have about 5,000 in production on a weekly basis. And so you can start to do the math and realize that there's really going to be quite a bit of income coming your way as you get through the learning curve and once you really nail down your schedule. And really, we have people that write much more than 5,000, but I would say, when we talk about company wide, and having people be really profitable. We talk about 5,000 being something to just kind of keep in mind as you are getting your schedule down and getting your business written. And then last, but certainly not least, actually, I think I have one more slide after this. I just want to touch base on our training and resources. One of the biggest things that I have recognized is that when, I'm speaking with somebody about getting hired on here within our agency, people want to make sure that they're not going to be left to their own devices, right? You want to make sure that you're going to have somebody that kind of walks you through and supports you on your journey. And so it's really important for you to know we do have various training and resources here. Number one, you're going to have a support text thread. It's going to be with myself and 3 others that are agency directors and equity partners here within the IMO of Symmetry. And so you're going to have people that you can send a text to, ask a question to, and we're going to be able to help in a more personal, intentional way. Also, we have weekly agency huddles where we're going to celebrate you. We're going to celebrate leaderboards. We're going to have different trainings go on. We do have our virtual office, which on an average basis, I would say there's between 30 and 70 people in there dialing. You can listen to people that are live dialing. You can listen to people that are training in there. It's incredible. We also do have office hours for role playing and asking questions. We have our new agent activation every single Thursday. Summit, which you're going to see right kind of here where it says base camp. This is going to be a training provided by HQ that's literally going to walk you through step by step in terms of scripts and preparing for appointments and dialing and all that good stuff. And then we also do have a sales mastery course that we recommend. So you're definitely not short on resources. I promise you that. And then last but not least, so finally we are here. We talk about leads. When you come on board, I am definitely going to recommend that you do talk with your network and you let them know that you're licensed and contracted to be able to serve them. And so that's going to be a way for you to be able to make sure that your people are protected and also get some money in your bank account to really get this business up and off the ground. But then outside of that, we do have various lead systems. Okay. So we're going to have different lead sources that you are able to invest in. And those will be our analog leads, which is going to be like a mortgage protection lead, basically meaning that it's a life insurance policy that would pay off the home or pay a portion of the home in the event something were to happen to your client to make sure that their family's protected, right? And then we do have digital leads, things that, think about when you're on YouTube or Facebook, social media, and you're going to see a lead pop up. People will fill out that information and it can come to you in the form of a digital lead as well. I will tell you one of the big reasons why I came on board here is because I didn't want to have to spend my time going door to door and trying to drum up business. I wanted to be able to look in my system, find leads that I wanted to dial, purchase those, and then get to work. And so it has been one of the greatest gifts to be able to come on board to a place that has TCPA compliant leads that I know and trust and can do really good business with. So I'm going to go ahead and stop my share. And basically, I just want to leave you with this. I am grateful that you came and listened to this quick overview. Like I said, I'm trying to cover a lot of information in a pretty short span of time, but I think it's important for you to have this information going into our interview. And my hope is that you've written down some questions that have come up for you and that we can cover that on our time together. And I look forward to it. Thanks so much for being here, and I look forward to chatting with you soon.